Come on now, bro. All these pound for pound fighters are too scared to fight me. They need 200 million to do it.
I got 200 million for you.
I'm fighting Jake Paul.
Pussy.
Talk about it. You fighting the best fighter in the world. You better be taking it seriously. You know, that goes to show, you know, how serious he's taking me and how much.
Terence Crawford has recently shifted his stance on Jake Paul's place in the boxing world. Now that there's talk of Jake possibly stepping in as a replacement for Gervonta Tank Davis, Crawford has admitted he'd be open to facing him, as long as the terms make sense. This is quite a turnaround, considering Crawford previously dismissed Jake Paul as someone who didn't belong in the same ring as professional fighters. But it appears that the potential for a major payday might have changed his perspective. Originally, Crawford had little patience for what Jake represented, a YouTuber entering the sport, racking up millions, and calling out legitimate boxers who'd spent years working their way up. He once described Jake as more of a spectacle than a serious athlete, saying that his involvement turned boxing into entertainment rather than real competition. Crawford was among those who felt Jake was disrespecting a sport built on discipline, patience, and years of hard-earned experience.
Punch with that right hand. Like, I seen him, you know what I mean, up close in person. Like, dude is big. He's not as slow as people think he is, and he can punch. You know, that's why a lot of people know, like, there was times where, you know, him and Tyson was in the ring.
But Crawford has since changed his stance. His tone toward Jake Paul has noticeably softened, and a sense of respect seems to be growing. During an appearance on Logan Paul's podcast, Crawford openly admitted that his earlier judgments were off. He explained, "Yeah, he's really boxing. At first, I wasn't on board. When people criticized you and your brother, I agreed. I thought you were just using your YouTube fame to jump into boxing and cash in, while real fighters who've trained their entire lives barely make a fraction of that. I saw it as disrespectful to those of us who live this sport." That's coming from a man who once believed Jake Paul's presence was harmful to boxing, a big shift from his earlier perspective.
Because check this out, Tank ain't gonna lose this fight. Hell no. Hell no. Tank ain't losing this fight. Too many holes. Man, Jake don't have enough experience. Yeah, man, it's gonna be taking candy from a baby. You know, Jake is missing the rules. See, this is what happened when you don't grow up in the game. When you don't grow up in the game, man, at a young age, this is what happens. You know,
Crawford explained that his change of heart came after seeing Jake Paul's dedication up close. What stood out to him wasn't the influencer persona, but the way Jake trained, like a real athlete. That's when things started to make sense for Crawford. He admitted, "Once I watched him put in the work and saw how seriously he's approaching the sport, the focus, the discipline, I realized this guy is actually improving." And coming from Crawford, that's no small compliment. Known for his perfectionism, sharp attention to detail, and undefeated record, he doesn't hand out praise easily. So for him to acknowledge Jake Paul's growth shows there's been a real shift in his perspective. He's not calling Jake a top-tier fighter yet, but he's giving credit where it's due.
It happened. Ryan Garcia fights for DAZN, and Jake Paul fights on Netflix. I mean, that's pretty much the bottom line. Golden Boy has a contract with DAZN. Ryan Garcia has a contract with Golden Boy. And that's just the way it is. I mean, this is business. You know, Ryan Garcia's probably going to go on a rant saying, "Oh, you're keeping me from making money and this and that and fighting." No, you have to go by the law, by the rules. You have a contract with DAZN.
Crawford got a first-hand look at Jake Paul's progress when he traveled to Puerto Rico for a boxing convention, the same weekend Jake faced Ryan Borland. That night, Jake delivered a clean knockout, and Crawford made sure to pay close attention. Talking about the fight later, Crawford said, "I was sitting there watching, and I thought, this guy's got real power in that right hand." It was a moment that clearly shifted his perspective. Now, Crawford isn't claiming Jake is taking on top-tier opponents yet, but he recognizes that every boxer starts somewhere. For Jake, fights like these are part of the same learning curve that every professional goes through, one step at a time.
Out of like the influencer world would be the most lucrative thing for my career, and I think I was the only one who like actually wanted to do it, and actually wanted to go all the way, and that's why I set the goal for myself early to become a world champion, set the bar extremely high. And
Crawford has since admitted that he now understands Jake Paul isn't trying to jump ahead in the boxing ranks. Jake isn't out here claiming he's ready to face elite champions like Usyk or Canelo overnight. He's taking on opponents that match his experience level and showing steady improvement with each fight. As Crawford put it, a lot of people want to see Jake Paul go straight at someone like Alexander Usyk, but that's not how this works. You've got to climb the ladder, one fight at a time. He went on to say that watching Jake live gave him a whole new level of respect. That's a major shift for someone who once rolled his eyes at the mere mention of Jake Paul. Now, not only is Crawford acknowledging Jake's progress, he's even open to facing him in the ring. And with Gervonta Davis possibly stepping away from a Jake Paul matchup, that opportunity might be closer than ever.
It's kidnapping, all sorts of crazy stuff, guys. If this is true, I just talk about just fumbling the bag, one of the biggest financial opportunities of his career, and he's about to ruin it. It's being reported that Jake's team is offering Ryan Garcia as a replacement for a December.
When Crawford first heard the rumors about a potential fight between Jake Paul and Gervonta Tank Davis, he didn't hold back. He called the idea crazy. And honestly, he wasn't wrong. The matchup is wild on paper. Jake fights at cruiserweight, hovering around 200 pounds, while Tank competes at just 135. That's an enormous size difference. Still, Jake wasn't shying away from the challenge. In a Netflix interview responding to Crawford's comments, he agreed that the fight sounded insane but insisted that's what makes it exciting. "Yeah, it's a crazy fight," Jake said. "It's two of the biggest names in American boxing going head-to-head. It's a 50-50th matchup. He's got the skill and experience, but I've got the size advantage. That's what makes it unpredictable and worth watching."
See this footage? Look at Tank. Now, if you know what you're looking at, the guy must be around 150 right now, 153, something like that. And you can really tell when he's sideways. When you look at him sideways and see the depth. See, from the front view, you can't really tell. But when he turns sideways, the guy is a wrecking ball. He's literally a baby rhino.
That's vintage Jake Paul, confident, strategic, and always ready to stir excitement. But then came the question that really got people talking. Would he step into the ring with Terence Crawford? Jake didn't even pause before answering. "I'd absolutely fight Terence, 100%. Let's make it happen." It was a response no one expected. Crawford, sitting at 42-0, is widely considered one of the greatest pound-for-pound fighters in the world, a complete technician who's dominated his era. But with age slowly catching up to him, and Jake being younger, stronger, and naturally much bigger, the idea suddenly didn't sound so far-fetched. From both a business and entertainment perspective, the matchup would draw massive attention, and an even bigger payday.
Oh, not gonna lie, you really got knocked out. Yeah, I really got knocked out. Watch the fight, you idiot. Been 12 rounds. Like, you're weird, bro. Bro didn't even knock me out or even throw punches. That's sad, bro. Just know, bro, I'm coming back. It's gonna be vicious. Like, you guys don't want to see that. You guys are weird trying to troll me over a fight I didn't even care about.
From a legacy perspective, the idea is wild, and that's exactly what makes it so intriguing. It's probably why both Jake Paul and Terence Crawford seem open to the matchup. Jake also revealed that a fight with Canelo Alvarez was almost finalized before the Mexican superstar pulled out to sign a new deal with Saudi boxing executive Turki Al-Sheikh. "I still think the Canelo fight is huge for both of us," Jake said. "We're two of the biggest attractions in boxing, and it would be an incredible challenge for me. But right now, my focus is on November 14th. Getting past Tank comes first."
His height. He's 5'5" with a 67-inch arm reach. But as you can see here, he's working on his versatility. He's now working on fighting orthodox. He's naturally a southpaw. Now he's working on fighting orthodox.
Now that the fight with Tank Davis seems unlikely, the question is, who's next for Jake Paul? Terence Crawford looks like the perfect fit. He brings respect, credibility, and elite technical skill, while Jake delivers the numbers, the marketing power, and mainstream attention. Together, they'd pull massive viewership, and both fighters are fully aware of it. It's fascinating how quickly things can shift in boxing when the timing, the hype, and the money all line up just right.
Beats Jake Paul? Do I think he beats Jake? Yeah. I mean,
It's a huge size advantage, though.
it is, but I think Tank got the skills to make sure he come out on top.
Do you think that Jake has gone better?
Yeah, I think actually Jake got tremendously better from the time frame that he started till now. And in the right situation, I also could see him become a world champion.
Really?
Just a year ago, Crawford wouldn't even mention Jake Paul in the same breath as serious boxing. Now, he's saying, if everything lines up, I'd take that fight. It's no longer about hype or ego, it's business. And it's easy to see why. Crawford has achieved it all: undisputed titles in 2 weight classes, an undefeated record, and universal pound-for-pound respect. At this stage, there aren't many fights left that truly excite fans or match the payday he deserves. A bout with Jake Paul would shatter pay-per-view records. For Crawford, it's not about proving anything in the ring anymore. It's about capitalizing on his legacy while the timing is perfect.
You know what's going to happen with a 135-pounder going up against a 200-pounder. I think it's not a real fight. Jake just too big. Tank ain't gonna be able to get in from that jab. Jake laying one good punch on Tank.
Jake's approach is just as calculated. He understands that stepping into the ring with Crawford gives him a level of legitimacy that beating another retired MMA fighter never could. Crawford is the real deal. If Jake can hold his own, or even go the distance, his standing in the boxing world would rise dramatically.
My only concern is, you know, the gloves. You understand what I'm saying? Because we don't fight in 12-ounce gloves. We don't use 12-ounce gloves. That's training gloves, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's 2 pounds away from Jake.
Anthony Joshua has also weighed in. With 2 former UFC fighters, including Nate Diaz, reportedly being considered as possible replacements for Gervonta Davis, the real shocker was Joshua's name coming into the conversation. After some speculation and playful online exchanges, promoter Eddie Hearn confirmed that talks about a potential Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua matchup have actually taken place. Joshua's response was simple, direct, and confident: "Just tell me the time and place."
Kidnapping, all sorts of crazy stuff, guys. If this is true, I just talk about just fumbling the bag. One of the biggest financial opportunities of his career, and he's about to ruin it. It's being reported that Jake's team is offering Ryan Garcia as a replacement for a...
That's classic Joshua. Calm, composed, and ready for action. No theatrics, no social media games. Just a clear signal that if the opportunity makes sense, he's prepared to step in. Eddie Hearn emphasized that while the matchup sounds exciting, it's far from simple. In an interview, he noted that numerous details still need to align, particularly the complex business side of making such a high-profile fight a reality. The biggest hurdle is the streaming contracts. Jake Paul is signed with Netflix, while Anthony Joshua is under DAZN, and the 2 platforms are fierce competitors. Without a mutually agreeable crossover deal, the fight can't progress beyond speculation. As Eddie Hearn explained, without DAZN's approval or a deal that satisfies all parties, we simply wouldn't move forward.
Come out, put this fight in serious peril. So much so that reports have been saying that, hey, Jake Paul's team have already started contacting fighters about being a replacement, whether it be for this November 14th date or maybe a date in December. And the 5 names they already contacted are some of the biggest names in the sport.
Here's where things start to get serious. Hearn revealed that he's already been in discussions with Jake Paul's manager, Nikisa Badarian, about the potential matchup. This isn't just speculative matchmaking, real conversations are underway. Hearn also confirmed that Anthony Joshua has been informed and responded immediately with his trademark confidence. "Just tell me where and when," he said.
He's a marketing genius, but when it comes to people that picking who's fights, I can't get my head around it. If Tank hits him clean, he's going to sleep. He'll have a lot of smoke blowing up his backside by his coaching team and people like that, but when he gets hit for real, 10-ounce, well, I'm told it's 16-ounce gloves now, it's like an exhibition. Right. I'm told it's big gloves and head guards he's gonna need.
Tank Davis is a natural lightweight, while Jake Paul walks around close to 200 pounds. It would have been a spectacle. Maybe not the most logical matchup, but one that had fans buzzing non-stop. Now that the fight with Davis appears unlikely, Jake's team is already exploring other options to fill that headline slot. Jake didn't hesitate to address the rumors. Speaking to Sky Sports, he confirmed that talks about a potential fight with Anthony Joshua are very much underway. Our teams are already in discussions, working to try and make this happen next year, he said.
And the situation, you guys can look into it. I didn't, you know me, I don't really speak about stuff outside the ring, but now I have to since it affects the ring, okay, and what happens in the ring. The fight may be canceled. It's a civil suit from my understanding, and I don't want to, confuse you guys or misinform you guys. I didn't look into it much, but from
True to form, Jake didn't stop there. He added, "It would be amazing to take on Anthony Joshua after this fight. A huge risk, a massive challenge, and a fight where almost no one expects me to have a chance. That's what excites me." Classic Jake Paul, chasing the impossible while selling it with a straight face. He knows exactly what he's doing. A fight with Joshua would be one of the biggest boxing events of the decade. From a competitive standpoint, it's wild. Joshua stands 6 feet 6 inches, weighs 250 pounds, and is an Olympic gold medalist and a 2-time unified heavyweight champion. Jake, despite his rapid improvement, is still essentially a cruiserweight-level fighter with fewer than 10 professional bouts. But his fearlessness and willingness to go after monumental moments is why the world keeps watching.
We know it's early. Less than 2 weeks, no fighter is going to take that. There will be no fight if it isn't Tank Davis on November 14th. As this moment, there has been no cancellation, but it seemingly is in the direction of Tank Davis not fighting Jake Paul on the 14th. So no fighter, legitimate fighter, is going to step in on 2 weeks' notice, even if it is.
Not everyone is convinced, though. Former UFC champion Michael Bisping shared his thoughts on Jake Paul's next move, and he didn't hold back. Speaking on his YouTube channel, Bisping admitted he has little sympathy for Jake as he scrambles to find a replacement for Gervonta Davis. Bisping also echoed what many in the fight world have been thinking. The original Paul vs. Davis matchup drew interest largely out of curiosity. Fans were eager to see how Tank's skill would match up against Jake's size advantage. Without that fight, however, the excitement and hype aren't quite the same.
The retort would be there's such a big weight discrepancy there, right? That's what some people...
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure Tank probably sparred like heavyweights or light heavyweights and things like that.
Damn,
so
really?
It's probably nothing that he never seen before. I'm pretty sure Jake never fought nobody that little.
No, it's good.
So
that's the fascinating part about it.
I feel like it's more so harder for Jake to fight a smaller guy like that because he...
Bisping also touched on a long-standing criticism from traditional fight fans, Jake's choice of opponents. Each time Jake steps into the ring, questions about legitimacy arise. He's faced retired MMA fighters, aging boxers, and names well past their prime. For many, it's entertainment more than elite competition. While Bisping acknowledged that Jake has made improvements, he remains skeptical that Paul would ever face someone truly dangerous, like Francis Ngannou.
Jake Paul versus Tank Davis November the 14th fight is off. The Jake Paul team have now reached out to Anthony Joshua, Floyd Mayweather, Ryan Garcia and Edgar Berlanga to replace Tank Davis, who is being sued for assault on his ex-girlfriend.
Bisping put it in his usual straightforward way, pointing to the example of Francis Ngannou, the man who gave Tyson Fury a real scare and almost earned a win in their fight. He argued there's no way Jake Paul would ever face someone of that caliber. He added, however, that if Paul somehow did step in the ring with Ngannou, he'd be the first to admit he was wrong.
Is this really the case? It has been reported by a couple of online periodicals, and if this is the case, then it says something about influencer, crossover and exhibition boxing. Because the reports are that the Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis fight is light by 6,000 tickets.
Bisping isn't just being critical, he's speaking from a fighter's perspective. Ngannou isn't merely a hard hitter, he nearly shocked the boxing world in his debut against the heavyweight champion. Jake may be fearless, but Ngannou represents a different level of danger, massive, explosive, and capable of delivering real knockout power against elite heavyweights. The risk-to-reward ratio in that matchup is extreme. Yet, despite that, Jake and Ngannou have already exchanged words publicly.
Now, Jake Paul, Tank, how you see that fight going?
Man, that's not a real fight. I like Jake. Is Tank?
It's not a real fight.
It's not a fight. Does Tank have a chance? He's so much smaller. He's a real boxer, but he's so much smaller.
After Jake's bout with Mike Tyson, Ngannou called him out online, claiming he wanted to slap him. Jake responded by labeling Ngannou a clout chaser. The exchange stayed firmly in the realm of social media, but it did plant the idea of a potential matchup. According to Bisping, though, that's likely where it will remain, online, not in the ring. Meanwhile, Nate Diaz has re-entered the conversation. His faced Jake before and went the distance. While that fight didn't exactly set the world on fire, it did generate sales. Diaz brings fan appeal, toughness, and crossover recognition, but is not the kind of blockbuster name needed to replace Gervonta Davis.
The boxing here. So early rumours for the replacement for Tank Davis to fight Jake Paul is Nate Diaz. It's going to be a rematch that no one asked for and no one wants to see. Unless you do. What's your thought?
The only two names that could truly make waves at that level are Anthony Joshua and, potentially in the future, Francis Ngannou. If Jake manages to secure a fight with Joshua, it would silence the critics and set streaming records across the board. The matchup alone, a YouTube superstar versus an Olympic heavyweight champion, is attention-grabbing, but the business side will ultimately decide if it happens. With DAZN and Netflix as rival platforms, a mega co-promotion deal would likely be necessary. Otherwise, the idea may remain just talk for now.
I don't want to beat up somebody that small. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying?
What do you think of the fight?
I don't want to lose to somebody that. There's no point in the fight. It's a great fight, actually.
You think
I'm
it's
not
a good
hating
fight?
on the fight, but I think my thoughts on it is let's watch and see what happens.
Ryan Garcia said his boxing's turning into WWE.
Yeah,
with that type of matchup. Do you agree? Last thing, White House card, like he said, you want Conor McGregor?
Yeah, but the whole thing's on WWE, so
Right.
it's like, at least that's happening and getting something to talk about.
Anthony Joshua's simple response, "Just let me know where and when," shifted the conversation entirely. This isn't a joke or a gimmick anymore. It's a real possibility that both sides are seriously considering. Eddie Hearn wouldn't even entertain it if the financials and audience reach weren't huge. For Jake, whether he beats Gervonta Davis or not, getting Joshua on board would be a monumental win that keeps his boxing journey in the spotlight. Right now, with names like Nate Diaz, Francis Ngannou, Joshua, and Terence Crawford all in play, Jake Paul's next chapter is shaping up to be as unpredictable as ever. And for someone like him, that's exactly the point: loud, risky, and impossible to ignore.